Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name is Colette and this is a reading today for all Scorpios. Sun, Moon, Rising and maybe Venus as well if you'd like to check out your Venus signs. If you don't know what your signs are, then I will put a free link in the description box below, a free astro natal chart link for you to go and check out where those other planets are and where your ascendant may be too. Also, if this reading doesn't resonate with you, because it is just a general reading, it's not a personal reading, if it doesn't resonate with you, then you might want to check out the other signs for those particular planets. And I'd just like to say that we're getting into the Scorpio Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, which is going to be ongoing for the next 5 weeks, I believe. And yesterday we had a Mars in Libra square Pluto in Capricorn, so that was quite an intense aspect as well. For Scorpios, all of this is taking place, the Mercury retrograde is all taking place in your first house. And the first house is all kind of the Aries stuff, self appearance, how you look, how you present yourself to the world, that I am. It's the first sign of the zodiac, Aries, so it's to do with all that stuff about how you show yourself, how you represent because Mercury is all about communication, so it's all about how you are going to be seen out there in the bigger world, if you like, how you express yourself through the Plutonian energies of kind of birth, death, rebirth. So you could be going through a real kind of possibly even an identity kind of struggle as well. And you may have also found yesterday with the Mars and Pluto square that you could have been feeling quite kind of argumentative maybe, and also like this real need to force your ideas on people, or people trying to force their ideas on you that you didn't necessarily want to take on board. It could have been quite a difficult challenge for you, and so that energy is leaving now because Mars and Pluto are kind of no longer in exact square. But on the 11th of this month coming up, we have Mercury conjunct the Sun. Again, it's all going to be taking place in your first house of new beginnings and the physical appearance, how you present yourself, and because it's Mercury is going to be kind of, it could almost be like new ideas, new just this kind of real change, this need for kind of real a different way of showing yourself, of approaching things, of communicating with people. You may find that you have to iron out a few issues that might have come up during that Mars Pluto square as well. You may find that you need to apologize or accept apologies, or there could be aspects of that coming in as well. So on the 11th of this month, the 11th of the 11th, there is this big Mercury conjunct the Sun happening. So with all that being said, I'd like to start your reading with a blessing card, a Namaste blessing card. And these are done by Tony Carmine Salerno, sorry, get it around the right way. And this is the card that came out for you today, Scorpio. And it kind of talks about transformation as well. Pluto, butterflies, it's all about transformation. Pluto is all about birth and death and rebirth. So you could have aspects of that going on at this moment in time, especially with this Mercury retrograde. happening in your sign. But the card itself is called Sunlight Blessing. And it says, a ray of light bursts through the cloud of uncertainty and darkness, transforms to light. A new day is born and the first buds of spring appear. You are blessed with the birth of something new. A new season of your life begins with this very special blessing. Which doesn't surprise me that this card came out, because like I was saying, Aries being the first house and everything taking place for you in your first house where your sun is, it is very much to do with, like if you look here, there is the sun there, and Aries is very much about new beginnings. Things are starting out, and you may have found that leading up to possibly the Mercury conjunction, there has going to be quite a lot of feelings of things being quite gloomy and dark and depressive and feeling as though you're not really getting anywhere. But this card is is saying, like, you know, the sunlight is there, and it's almost like suddenly seeing things, suddenly everything is illuminated and you can see a lot clearer. There's a little heart at the centre of that tree as well, the heart centre. So maybe it's saying, you know, come from the heart centre rather than kind of always connecting with the mind. Look for the heart feeling within it all, and you'll see things in a clearer, different way. So the first card that we have out here for you, Scorpio, is the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups for me is always a card of choices, castles in the air, a feeling of too much choice, can be slightly overwhelming. But Psyche down here is saying that she knows what she wants, and it's not any of these. And Aphrodite is kind of pointing to these and saying to her, you know, you've got choices here. You've got choices. You don't have to stick with the choice that you've made. There are other things that you could choose instead. How much do you really want what it is you believe you want? And how willing are you, how far are you willing to go in order to be able to achieve that? Are you just going to give up now? Or are you going to pursue it? So there could also be some confusion around this as well, because sometimes we don't know whether we should pursue something. We don't know whether it's the right thing for us to do, whether we should give it up and try something else. And with this card coming out here, there is new beginnings. It is saying that there is, you know, new starts, new beginnings. But again, I would say go with your heart. Go with your heart. Go with what your heart is telling you. Because Aphrodite is all about love. Aphrodite is the goddess of love. She is Venus. And she is saying, you know, what is it you're really feeling here? What is it you're really wanting? So that's at the centre of your reading, Scorpio. And what's above you, what's in your head and what you're aware of, is the Queen of Pentacles, but she has come out reversed. Had she been up the right way, I would say that this is a card of satisfaction, fulfillment, a feeling of being in your power, a feeling of knowing who you are, what you want, which is something that I think this is kind of saying, being upside down, is that you are kind of not sure of who you are even at the moment, that there is an element of you know, your world kind of being turned upside down in some respect. Everything kind of turned on its head, and you don't really feel as though you have that security, because Pentacles is very much security, and the Queen of Pentacles speaks very much about the security. She's very secure in her own physical form. She knows who she is, she knows her body, she knows how it works, But being up this way, I would say that there's a state of, could be a state of confusion with the Seven of Cups coming out here. She may feel as though she no longer recognises herself, which could have something to do with the Mercury retrograde as well. But there is this kind of sense of, because she's also very much to do with the physical form, the body, the health, the sustaining ourselves. Yeah, I just get this feeling that it could have something to do with health as well, and taking care of yourself, and maybe not having taken as good a care of yourself recently as you could have. And this is a card for both male and female. Just because it's a queen, it doesn't mean that it's just a female. It can also relate to the male gender as well. It's just the energy, and that's what the energy is saying to me, that there is this kind of feeling of being off balance in many ways, being out of kilter, being being insecure, not feeling secure enough in yourself to be able to make decisions that you need to be able to make at this time. And that could have something to do with health. I have a feeling that there could be some Scorpios out there that this is relating to health issues as well. So maybe you need to look into that as well on a deeper level. And I also say as well that the Queen of Pentacles, because of her connection to the earth, she can be very how can I put it, very independent, very self-aware of her own body. She may find it difficult to let go of that control of herself and allow other people to help her. So that could be an element of in there as well. But what's underneath and what you are unaware of, your subconscious, what's going on deep in the subconscious, is the High Priestess, who is all about the subconscious and very, very Scorpionic energy. Because Scorpio is all about the deeper feelings, the real deep intuitive, emotional depths, the undercurrents, the kind of underworld, the realm. It's like she's gone down these steps into the underworld, and she's kind of being taken somewhere against her will, shall we say, in this card. It's like, and often when it comes to things like the deeper subconscious, it isn't a place that we particularly want to go to willingly. It's often a place that we find ourselves in kind of because we don't have any other options. There's not huge amounts of us who willingly will go into a space that is kind of scary and full of the unknown, in the sense of we don't know what we're going to find down there when we go into our deepest, darkest recesses. Our feelings, our emotions, our intuition. And there is an element here of also being asked to trust your intuition, being told to trust how you really feel about something. Look for the innocence. I always think of this card as being very pure and very innocent. She wears this beautiful flowing white dress, which kind of reminds me of a bride, but almost a bride to herself rather than to anybody else. And there is, for me, always an element of not only trusting your own instincts and your own feelings, but also going back into places where we've been before and trying to look at things with new eyes, trying to look at something from a more innocent energy, a more innocent fashion, rather than judging what's coming into our lives by what's been previously in our lives and just kind of resisting it or refusing to look at it because we believe on some level that, you know, that's happened before, it's going to happen again type of energy. So it's kind of saying that there is a need here for us to, or should I say you Scorpios, to stop being quite so jaded about things as well. It's almost like there's a jadedness here, as though, you know, life's just kind of like you just know what's going to happen next, but you don't. You just kind of believe that that's what's going to happen next, and therefore you won't look at things in a fresh kind of way, a new way, which again is what, you know, this card here, the first card that came out, and kind of saying, you know, new beginnings. There are new beginnings, but to get to the new beginnings you need to kind of go back to a place of innocence, childlike innocence, and look at the world through fresh eyes, fresh you know, try and remember what it was like when you were a child, and, you know, the magic that was there every day unfolding in front of you. So for me, that's the underlying energy of where this is coming from. And the energy that's moving away, that's been around for a bit, but is now passing out, is the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is saying that there has been a time of reflection, a time of having to, I suppose with this card here as well, they kind of go hand in hand, the kind of need to reflect, to go down into the underworld, into the depths, and kind of really take time out. So this could have been literally that somebody has had to literally take time off, had to give themselves some space, had to remove themselves from a certain situation that maybe wasn't very healthy for them. But there has been this need here to just kind of relax, just learn to kind of go with the flow somehow. Just yeah, sit back, watch the clouds go by, and just not get involved. A time of removing yourself from a situation that you couldn't make any difference to, and kind of realizing that it didn't matter what you did or didn't do, it wasn't going to make any difference. So therefore it was better for you to just step outside of that situation at this moment in time and give it some space. Give yourself some space, allow yourself some time to think things through. And the Nine of Cups is the energy that is coming in, which is a wish fulfillment. It's like saying, you know, everything that you've wanted is coming your way. All your dreams, your hopes, all those things that you've wanted to achieve. The Six Cups down here for me always reminds me of the Six of Cups card, and the kind of nostalgia and the kind of walking away and the yearning for things. And these three cups here for me, it's like the celebration of the Three of Cups actual card. It's kind of the combination of having kind of gone to this place, if you like, which is really where the Six of Cups kind of leads us through the journey. And with the Seven of Cups here as well, saying, you know, You know what you want. You know your heart's desire. You know what you're hoping and wishing for. And it is a possibility. It can happen. It can come true. But in order to get there, you've had to take that time out to give yourself the space to make the decision, really. These two cards here, and a bit like the Seven of Cups, and you've given yourself the space, and now you know what you really want. You know what it is that you want. You know you want that happiness. However that happiness comes along, whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, whether it's a lifelong dream, but it is saying that that is your potential. That is there. But in order to get there, you have to know what it is you want and give yourself the space to really allow it to take place, rather than trying to make it happen or force it to happen. It's kind of saying, you know, take a backward step for, because sometimes, you know, the more we kind of try to make something happen, the more resistance we actually put up to it, strangely enough. I know it may seem the kind of adverse idea or theory, but we tend to focus on what we are not wanting rather than what we are wanting. We see what we don't have rather than what is there or what we can have. So it kind of sets up this kind of magnetic repellent, shall we say, like, you know, two magnets together, both the same end will repel each other. And that's the kind of thing that can happen in on a energetic vibrational level, that we can actually make that happen the more we're trying to bring something together. So I asked for a card for the Ask and It Is Given cards, which I've been doing for the last card in the readings, and you got two cards today, Scorpio, which were quite interesting. And this card, it is natural for my body to be well. So I find that quite interesting because of the Queen of Pentacles. I think that there probably are some Scorpios out there who are having to readjust to some kind of health issue here. And the card itself says you do not have to think specific positive thoughts about your body, but you have to not think specific negative thoughts. If you could never again think about your body and instead just think pleasant thoughts, your body would reclaim its natural place of wellness. So it's a bit like I was saying, that if we focus on those negative thoughts, that is what we are going to manifest, because these cards are all about how we manifest and what we manifest and why we're manifesting it, which is why I like to finish the reading on these particular cards. So it's saying just think positive thoughts and don't focus on the actual problem, because the more you focus on the problem, the more you will focus on it in a negative way, because that's just how the mind works. And then that will just exacerbate the problem even more. And I'm not saying don't get professional help here at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that while that's happening, if you need professional help, while that is also taking place, focus on positivity. Focus on the good. Don't take your mind into a negative place of what you believe is going to happen or what you believe is already happening, because you could very easily bring that into the actual reality. And interestingly enough, Scorpios, you got a second card today, And your second card says, first of all, I'll read this bit. So my emotional set points can be changed, which I find really interesting coming out. These two cards coming out together. Really interesting. Your set points are achieved by attention to a subject. We want you to understand the extreme value in deliberately achieving your own set points. Because once you expect something, it will come. The details of it may play out differently, but the vibrational essence will always be an exact match. And that's what it's saying here. I think that these two go really well together in this specific incident. Although it's saying, you know, don't focus on specific negative thoughts, because they will become your set point. And if that is your set point, then that's the vibration that you're putting out there, and that vibration will manifest itself, because that's what we do. That's how we manifest things into our lives. And it may not always be the same for everybody, but ultimately we do all have that that potential. We all have the potential to do it positively or negatively. And because very much how our society has been for so long, we kind of have closed ourselves off to the amount of potential that we have within our own lives, within taking back the control of our own lives, if you like, as well, and saying, you know, that I do have more control over this than I've been told that I have. So those are the two cards that I would like to finish your reading on, your manifesting cards, Scorpio. I hope that this reading has been of some help to you. I hope the message will get out there to you. And if you have enjoyed my reading, could you please like, subscribe and tap the bell to receive future videos that I will be putting out there. Also, I'd like to say thank you very much to those who have subscribed to my channel, and I will hopefully see you all again soon. Take care. Bye bye.